I'm always humbled when I get to Chicago because Chicago has a lot of, I've had a lot of history with Chicago, indirectly and directly. But I had heard about this event, quite honestly, for years. And I've heard it's one of the best in the country. And I'm like, well, I'll get to experience the best in the country, but I always wonder why is it the best in the country? It didn't take long. It's the people. Everything I've ever done in Chicago, it's been the people. And that guy right there, Jim Hart's one of them. But this is why it's one of the best in the country, because of everybody who's sitting here. And that's not shocking to me with the experiences that I've had with the city of Chicago and the Chicago Bears. When Jim asked me to come here, I wanted to bring a message of hope and thanks. The words "find a way" have helped me live a dream and fight to live, and a lot of in between, but they were just supposed to help me live a dream. When I was a kid, first time I ever saw football on television, I knew what I wanted to do and I knew what I wanted to be. My dad would make me a wall of cork in my bedroom so I could pin all my goals up. And the day that I would play in the National Football League, I put my favorite player next to that goal, which was Walter Payton. Walter Payton indirectly affected me in my life and would later on impact me directly as I played for the Chicago Bears. But as a young kid, I was fascinated about being better. Who could help me? The words "find a way" actually gave me my first moment of truth in life. They sent me on a journey, but they inspired many things for me on the day that they first entered my mind after I put that goal up I'll play in the National Football League. The number one thing it did for me, it inspired me to take action. We are here today because Keith took action. I know everybody in this area right now, and the sound of my voice, everybody knows the results if you do nothing. Do something about your circumstances. That's our responsibility. That's what Find a Way inspired me to do. So I started doing more research and trying to find out who can help me be better and help me accomplish my goal of playing in the National Football League. I'd heard a lot about Walter Payton, things he had done, things he would do. I was a young kid, and I heard about a tape he's put it out called Winning in Life. I couldn't wait to get the tape because I heard he's going to talk about charity work, family life, and how he trains. I'm a young kid. All I care about is how he trains. I can't wait to get the tape. I plug it in. I scroll through it, try to find things that interest me. I come across an interview process I didn't know existed. First thing the interviewer asks him, what makes you better than everybody else? Now, when I share this story, I'm usually not in Chicago, so I always follow up with, I just don't assume everybody knows who Walter Payton is. I'm assuming everybody knows who Walter Payton is. But this, you may have forgot about him or you've never heard about him. This was always said about Walter Payton. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he's not the fastest. He's just the best. As a kid, that was confusing because everybody bigger, stronger, and faster than me is always better than me. How is he better than everybody in the world? After he was asked what makes you better than everybody else, he said something as profound as I've ever heard a human being say it. He paused for a second, and he said, I want it more than they do. Every day of the week. He said, you see, at 7 o'clock in the morning, when I go run that dirt hill in the off season, I want it more than they do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. During the season, when there's not 65,000 fans sitting in the stands, cameras are not rolling, I want it more than they do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then Sunday at 1 o'clock, man, you better believe I want it more than they do. I hit pause. I can do that. There's not a soul sitting in this arena right now that can't do that. That is a mindset, a pattern, and a choice. It could be the difference, that mindset could be the difference between you and your competitor, between you and your challenge. On February 14th, 2003, I would feel the call from my doctor confirming I had a 3-pound tumor in my lower back. Like he said, ironically, Merril, it's the size and shape of a football. You're going to go through brutal chemotherapy for nearly a year. You're going to feel like you've been run over by a Mack truck, but we're going to give you 21 days to recover, and then we're going to do it again. You're going to get sick, and you're going to get tired because it's going to take a toll on you. And he was right. I never felt anything rip through my body or violate my veins worse than on treatment day. And he said anywhere from 14 to 17 days after your first treatment, you're going to start losing your hair, so you might want to think about shaving your head. And the last thing I have to say, I hate to say it, but I got to say it, I can't guarantee what we're going to do is going to work for you. And he hung the phone up. Of all the things I heard on that day, I had never heard, I can't guarantee something's going to work for you. Played in an environment for 22 years. Injuries were always a part of the day or the week. We always had an answer. I'd never heard that. When I hung up that phone, two things overwhelmed me, if not consumed me: chemotherapy and dying. And I understand the sting of death. I lost my mom when I was a very young kid. I know how losing a parent can wreck a home and change lives. That is why I love, of all the things I've ever done in my life, playing in the National Football League, more than my career at ESPN. And as much as I love this platform and opportunities like this, I love more than this. I love being a dad. I love my kids without end. I had 15 days before my first treatment. I had 15 days because I had 15 exams I needed to have before I had my first treatment. The day before my first treatment, my doctor calls me up, and he said, "We are going to add another part to your treatment that is a targeted therapy that has a possibility of taking your success rate from 40% to nearly 73%. He said, "We don't know if it'll work, but if it does, that'll be a big deal for you." When he hung up the phone, I actually did a little bit of research. I wanted to find out what kind of treatment I was really going to go through. And in this article, I found out the treatment for my cell type had just been created 10 years prior to my diagnosis. The first thing I thought of, what did they tell everybody prior to that 10 years that had the same thing I had? It then made me, when I have moments like this, I think of many people that are friends of mine that are not here today. Stuart Scott, Sam Mills. They don't have the luxury that I have today because I have a perspective on life I didn't have before. And that perspective is all I would have missed had I not survived. I'd have missed this opportunity to share a message with you, to be a part of this event. But the main reason that I am here today is because I want you to understand how important you are. You've already heard many people come up here and talk about research. You've heard about treatments. You've heard about cures. Do you know none of that could have taken place or can or will take place without what? Funding. You have indirectly saved lives tonight. I want to thank you on behalf of all the people you will never meet that you will help save their lives. And I'm going to put a different face to it. It's not a patient. It's a dad. It's a mom. It's a son or a daughter. It's a grandma or a grandpa or a dear friend. You're helping save those lives by what you have done here tonight. What the American Cancer Society has done, what you have done over the years, you have helped save hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. You have given people hope. I don't think there's any greater service in life than that. And having been a part of this now for a couple of days and seeing the people here, I'm humbled to be here. I'm grateful to be here. Of all the jackets I ever thought I was going to wear in my life, I thought it was a gold one. I didn't think it would be a red one. But I wear it with honor. And I'm grateful. Football is the greatest team sport I have ever played. But life, this right here, is the best team game. Because individually we are strong. Keith made a decision and took action, right? Without everybody here, collectively we are powerful. Without everybody, nothing gets moved. Nothing gets done. And you have made that difference. I want to thank you again on behalf of everybody that you will never meet, the lives that you will affect. I want to thank you for allowing me to be your teammate, and good luck to each and every one of you as you find your way every day. Thank you.